G'day friends and welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, I'm finally back home and having a great time, feeling very comfortable in my own environment. I did have a wonderful time while I was in the US. The hospitality there is always awesome, so it always makes you want to go back. But I've been combating jet lag for the past few days, getting up at some ungodly hours of the morning, but it's finally starting to get normal again. Now, today's video is a bit of a cautionary tale. Before I got on the plane to travel overseas, my Lumix G85, which was my first mirrorless camera, started playing up. So I left it for repairs as I was away. So I got back and unfortunately I got some bad news. So the sensor apparently is playing up. So it's a very intermittent problem. I'm actually taking pictures or videos and all of a sudden I'll get some funny fragmentation on the image and it's recorded. So it's definitely the sensor. That's what the repair person told me. And what's peculiar about it is that to replace the sensor is nearly as expensive as getting a whole new camera. So as you can imagine, I was quite disappointed. This camera is very, very powerful. Originally, I got it to be my vlogging camera. This was before the M50 was announced, and it did a good job. Has some great features. The time lapse is awesome, and it has 4K shooting. It does do a little bit of cropping, but it is a pretty all-round great mirrorless device. Unfortunately, the autofocus, especially when it comes to vlogging, and it's not just this camera, but I think it's a Panasonic thing, it tends to hunt too much. So I never used to get really good autofocus like the M50 does. So I put it aside and I used it for other projects, especially time-lapse. This guy is great for time-lapse. Not only does it make the movie for you, just like the M50 does, but it allows you to work with the raw photos after the fact, so you can practically do whatever you like with the photos and the time-lapse. And it has all these other great features. So like I said, I was really disappointed to find out that it wasn't going to be salvageable, and I probably had it over 12 months. Now, I guess the tip number one, now that I've learned that I've got this problem, is the fact that I neglected the warranty. So obviously the warranty for this device was only 12 months. And instead of me purchasing something that was going to extend it, I opted out, so in order to save some money. But obviously I am now suffering the consequences of that decision. So tip number one, if the manufacturer offers an extended warranty, I think you should take it to avoid the trouble that I'm having right now. Now, tip number two is when you have a problem and your camera is still under warranty, I recommend that you don't ignore it. Get it looked into and hopefully serviced as quick as possible. Although I did notice the problem, it started very intermittently. So originally it was something that I thought was a one-off thing. And because I used the camera so infrequently, I started using the M50 more and more. I really ignored the issue, and if I had caught it in time, it may have been covered by the warranty and I would have saved myself a bit of money. In the meantime, I was purchasing lenses for it. So I bought, apart from the actual lens that came with the camera, I purchased another telephoto lens and a wide-angle lens to actually, experiment with different types of photography. And so now I'm stuck with these lenses. So I guess tip number two is if you see a problem and it doesn't seem normal, act on it immediately. Now, the Panasonic G85 is a fantastic little camera. I haven't been disappointed the whole time I've had it, apart from the autofocus. But now I know that Panasonic has released the G95 or G90, G91, depending on what part of the world you're at. But the G95 is almost an identical camera. It has a better sensor, but the good thing about it is that the accessories all fit. So same lenses, same batteries, practically the same size, The battery pack, extended battery pack also fits it. So that's probably the logical choice. Go up a model and actually, cut my losses and keep on using the same equipment. The other thing is that I've got the M50, why do I need another camera? And that's the other thing that I'm sort of debating. Now, although I am happy with the M50 as far as the vlogging camera, a very portable device that can do a lot of things with very little fuss, I do miss some of the other features that some of the more expensive cameras come with. Now, one of the things that is tempting in the Panasonic range, the G5, even the new G95, is that I can use the same lenses, and that's going to save me a bit of money. And so that's what I'm sort of thinking. I'm debating going back and forwards. Do I stay in the Micro Four Thirds Panasonic world, or do I go to a different type of mirrorless? Or do I go for some of the older DSLRs that are proven and tested so I can use some of those lenses that are out there? The great thing about 2019 is that I'm spoiled for choice. There is so many viable products out there that can fit the bill. There's, Fuji, Canon, Nikon, Sony, even Panasonic is also high up there. So there's really too much choice. So hopefully I'll pinpoint what it is that I want the camera to do for me, do my list, and then start looking exactly for the camera that's going to fit those features. So what is it that I'm looking for? Maybe if I tell you some of the features that I really don't think of necessary, that may give me an idea of what I'm looking for. So right now, 4K is not a big deal just yet. I tend to shoot a lot of 1080p, and I'm very comfortable with that. So if I stick to 1080p, then obviously I can do a lot of slow motion, because most of the cameras out there now are doing up to 120 frames per second in 1080p. So if I omit 4K out of the equation, then I've got more options. The other thing that is really important to me is autofocus, because I do want to continue using the camera for vlogging and video, and by having a great autofocus, it makes the job so much easier. And that's one of the reasons why I really didn't like or start using the Panasonic as much as I should have, because of the autofocus. So time lapse is really important for me. I love taking time lapses, but one of the things that I want to make sure I investigate in the future is astrophotography. So I want to make sure that the camera I get does time lapse. I have the ability to manipulate the photos in post-production, and hopefully they get captured in RAW. That gives me more variety when it comes to the type of time lapses that I do. The selection of lenses is really important to me too. I want to make sure that the camera I choose has a lot of native lenses. I don't want to use adapters. I want it to be nice and straightforward. And I know some of the newer mirrorless cameras out there have a limited number of lenses, and they tend to be very expensive. I don't want to break the bank. I want to make sure that they're nice and affordable, but also good quality. So I think I've set a good task for myself. I am spoiled for choice. There's a lot of good cameras out there, but as long as it meets the requirements of what I want to use a camera for, that's probably going to be more important than getting an all-in-one. So I just want to focus on the type of photography that I am interested in doing. So I think it's going to be an interesting weeks and months coming as I test and try different cameras to see if it's actually going to meet my needs. Also, if you've come across some great reviews online on YouTube or whatever, please post a link in the comment section below so I can look them up. Any type of information is going to be helpful in the decision-making process. So that's it, that's the video. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'd love to go on this journey together with you, and your feedback is always going to be something that I'm going to cherish. So don't forget to write your comments below, and until the next time, Ciao for now.